What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the broader markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below or use my QR code right here to sign up. Moomoo is an awesome global brokerage that consists of many exclusive offers. If you sign up and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia. Deposits $10,000 to get $300 worth of NVIDIA, or deposit $50,000 to get $1,000 of free NVIDIA stock. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends very soon, so please use my link down below to sign up. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the markets and NIO. So, as far as NIO is going, I just want to mention that we have a nice setup right here. We have this nice looking cup and handle like structure. We've been making higher highs and higher lows. I think we're doing a great job so far, continuing to climb upwards. We just got some very important numbers that came out for NIO, which is still looking quite strong, and this helps me to once again have a more bullish view. So the news came out that NIO's deliveries are at about 40,397 for the month of October. That's up 92.6% year over year, the first time in over 40,000 for the third consecutive month. So that's some great news. Another big record month for NIO. And that is some awesome news altogether. So that's a big increase compared to before. And we look at specific details. The company delivered 40,397 vehicles in October 2025, up 92% year over year. We had 17,000 deliveries that came out from the brand NIO, 17,300 from the other partner family oriented brand known as Onvo, and then 5,900 from their Firefly brand. That puts the total deliveries at about 913,000 as of October 31st, 2025. A new record for NIO and awesome deliveries again. And simultaneously, we're going to be looking for another increase in November and December as we're seeing the new brands selling out like crazy. And we're going to see a big amount of orders. I think that this is going to really help those margins as time goes on. And I think that we could be looking for profitability very soon. I think within a quarter or two, we could be looking for the first profitable quarter for NIO. And that's going to be very awesome for the share price. That could really benefit the share price and help the share price just continue to climb upwards. Looking at the daily time frame, we're also looking quite strong. We ended up going back up to my target at this 7.4 area, like I talked about yesterday, and we could continue to climb back up towards 7.8 next. We're still looking bullish and very, very solid, in my personal opinion. And once we get earnings, I can't wait to see how the numbers end up looking. Besides that, I just wanted to call out that tomorrow is going to be Tuesday, November 4th. There's not really much data coming out, at least for the US. And then we had Lisa Cook from the Fed who came out and said that she sees the risk of further labor market weakness as greater than the risk of inflation picking up even more. But she hasn't really said there's going to be another cut yet, although she's kind of like stopped there. This is something that could be very important, at least for the markets, because now it's incentivizing the Fed to be a little bit more lenient as they transition away from quantitative tightening. Also, when it comes to earnings, today we have Palantir announcing earnings. Tomorrow we have Uber, Shopify, and Pfizer in the morning, and then AMD and Supermicro after market close. Palantir beat their earnings estimates and they beat the Q4 expectations. But the problem is that, and I'm sorry, I'm referring to the Q4 guidance, excuse me, guys. But the problem is that the share price kind of like priced this in and kind of pumped and dumped, and so far it's kind of flat. There's not really much news coming out. We're still waiting to see what happens with this government shutdown that's still continuing. And then many of President Trump's tariffs are going to be argued in the Supreme Courts to see if they are once again legit and if they're legal under particular acts. So I'll be talking about that a little bit later on. Anyways, for now, I just want to focus on the share prices. NIO is looking more bullish, higher high, higher low, higher high, and higher low. And as long as we don't end up losing essentially 7.18, we're going to be favoring a continuation higher for 7.5 or above. When it comes to other tickers, we have SPY. This is kind of like flat right now. As we approach 680, we like to bounce, but as we hit 686, we like to reject. So we're forming an inverse cup and handle like this. So we're just going back and forth between supply and demand. There's a good chance we continue to do this, and we're going to see if we end up breaking down to fill this gap or not. We still have this gap at 677, but as of right now, I still see a risk of that potentially getting filled because don't forget on Wednesday, we also have some big data coming out. We have the very important ADP employment change. This may cause some volatility alongside the ISM services numbers. So although we're kind of like consolidating, we may continue this consolidation for some time. Unless we break past like 688 to be more bullish, we're still favoring consolidation and then a downside move for 677. The QQQ is very flat as well. We start off with a bit of a dip, then we start to bounce and we're trading sideways. We need to break 635 to be bullish, but if we end up losing support at 628, there's a risk of us retesting the lows at 625 and eventually coming back down here. I would argue that we're basically forming a wedge on spine the QQQ like this. And until we break one of these directions, we're just going to be trading flat for some time until we break down or up. Same thing with SPY, by the way. We're also forming a wedge-like pattern getting tighter and tighter. So I do expect some tightness tomorrow. Not really much. And then there is that risk of downside in case we get a rejection. Same thing with the IWM. We're just trading sideways. We're technically on a downtrend. Might retest 246 and we'll see if we reject off that. ES is also trading sideways. We have resistance at 68.90 and support at 68.65. It may also continue to trade sideways unless we dip back down to fill this gap. NQ is also making lower highs. We're going to see if 26,000 holds. If not, we could be dipping to 25,800. For Bitcoin, we're also making lower highs. We could be dipping back down towards 105,000. We'll see what happens after that. On Tesla, we're making higher highs and higher lows, but I just wanted to mention that we're still looking more bullish overall. Tesla is still holding up very nicely as you approach the shareholder meeting. We're going to see if we retest like 465 and consolidate before it tries to go higher. As long as there's no bad news, this may continue to climb closer to 480. It still looks bullish to me. But then after the shareholder meeting, we'll have to see what happens. For other tickers out there, we have Nvda, which is trading sideways. It could return back down, though, as it's struggling to break past 210 for 202. AMD is also, not AMD, Apple is also tipping towards 264, might come down a little bit. MSTR is on a bit of a downtrend. It could be dipping back down towards 252. AMD has earnings tomorrow, so we're going to see if this breaks. I don't know if it's about to get a rug pull at the head and shoulders. It could be going either way. Coinbase is dipping, could be coming down to fill the gap at 325. Amazon pumped quite a bit, but there's a slight divergence. Might retest 215. We'll see if it bounces. Meta is still showing weakness. It bounced only to reject, so it may continue to fall towards 630, and we'll see what happens. Google has support at 280, and we're going to see if it bounces or not. Microsoft is also dipping right here, so it could be dipping lower back down towards 512. And we're going to see what happens as time goes on. The VIX is also dipping for now, but the question is, will the VIX get some kind of bounce soon as the market comes lower? Is the VIX about to get a big rejection? We're in the middle. So honestly, I do see SPY and the QQQ kind of like consolidating these wedges for some time. Then we'll see if we dip lower. However, when you look at other tickers such as NIO is showing a lot of strength right now with a nice cup and handle. And this may continue to pump even higher back up towards 7.5 to 7.8, and we'll see what happens after that. Thank you all so much for listening. We're still looking more bullish on NIO, and we're holding up well. Awesome deliveries, breaking records, and I think we could continue to uptrend. Look for consolidation tomorrow morning and then a continuation higher for 7.8. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.